Hello guys, I am ElfNet Gaming, and I just got back from jobs, some work stuff, and I brought in some things that were given to me. You can see this is a box of radios and other things. Over here is another radio. Then there's some computer stuff. There's an Apple Mac. These computers back here are older. They're the Pentium 2, 3, and 4 era. But we're going to dig in here. This here is a Motorola Spectra with an A9000 head. This radio is labeled Astro UHF. How true that is, I don't know yet until I actually read this radio out. It does have a standard control head. It doesn't say Astro on the control head, but what I'm thinking is that an Astro head is just labeled Astro to match this. And these plates right here are removable, so they may have just stuck another plate on. I'm not going to know until I read it out at some point in the future. It's control head, interface cable, power cable, and that's all there. And I got it sitting on the Mac. The Mac was given to me. Don't know its status. It is all together. Back here is a Dell XPS laptop, which the battery is full, but the damn thing will not turn on. You can see the battery does show full, but I tried turning it on. Hard drive doesn't spin up. Nothing happens. I'm thinking it's got the dead motherboard problem on it. I got some SATA cables here, some 90s and the standards. These 12 volt, 1.3 amp hour, 20 hour batteries. I got 3 of those. These all have a charge on them. I checked them before I got them. I thought they were going to be dead. A Netgear 4-port dual-speed hub, DS104. It's metal. Power wall wart. I have one to go in there. I didn't find the one for it. And there's the WAP54G, the access point, Cisco Linksys, with these little antennas. This is not a router. This is just an access point. And of course, there's some more. There's the other computers. A Dell Optiplex Breed back there. There's a white box here and a white box there. There's a hard drive I found on a shelf, 500 gigabytes. I'm going to test this, see if it's good. If it's good, I'm going to put it in my big desktop. I got 3 these thumb drives. One of these is a 4 gig and the others are 2. That's a 2. I know the red one's a 2. This one, scan disk. I don't know what size that is. And this is the 4. It's 4 gig. And these are the ones that you just, they do that. And these all were blank when I got them. They do hold data. I used my laptop on them. And I have a piece of retro, a box of new Memorex 2-sided high-density floppy disks. Now, for those of you who have never seen a floppy disk, well, these aren't really floppy. These were the later floppy disks. The actual floppy disk was a 5.5, and it was actually floppy. We still call these floppy disks because of the magnetic disk on the inside. And if you had any of these and you didn't have a way to look at the eclipse, you could have opened this and looked through there, and it will pass enough light to have seen the eclipse. I'm going to check these, see if they're good, because I am in need of these, believe it or not. I have an old computer that needs them. So I'm going to start piling this back up. There's the inside of this dust bunny ridden, I think this is going to be like a Pentium 3 maybe. It's got PC133. It's got a video card of some sort in it, and it looks like it's got an Ethernet card in the bottom. 2 sticks of RAM, some dust, some fans, wires, 20 gigabyte max hard drive. This computer here has no hard drive in it. The Dell back there, I think it has a 30. The Mac, I'm not sure fact, we can open that up in a minute. But I'm going to have to get the Spectra radio off. But we're going to go in the radio box. Now, by looking at this, you would probably say, oh, Jesus. What? It's like, what? Okay. If you know anything about radios, you know that there is a couple of wideband radios here, and the rest are perfectly legal to use now in the commercial band. If you don't know which ones are wideband, you really have no business messing with radios, especially commercial radios, or any radios for that matter. I'm sorry, I'm just going to throw it back at the people that threw it at me in a previous video that, well, is somewhere buried on the internet now. Who wanted to harp on me about radios and junk? Well, okay. Let's get these out of the way. I've got a couple of these UHF 450, 470. This one doesn't look like it's ever been cut. This one here is another one. It looks like it may have been cut at some point. I can't tell. Surprisingly enough, there's this blue cell phone in here, and this is really interesting because this phone has an aerial that pulls out on the side. And the reason it has that, it's a telescopic aerial antenna, is this phone actually has an analog television tuner built into it, of all the things. Now, I was playing with this earlier. I'm not going to mess with it now. Here's another phone in here. Of course, you know, these cell phones are fucking useless now, but they do have batteries that do hold a charge. So we'll get into the meat of it. I got another one of these, an MTS 2000 flashport, a Model 3, only this one is UHF, the 450 to 470 band. This will work nicely with my current analog radios that I do have, that I use here and there. I don't use my digitals as much as I would like to because, well, it's not enough of them to support an entire work group. I have more analog and use them, you know, simplex, things like that. So currently this radio is not charged. Don't know the state of that battery, but that belt clip is metal and it's big. I did cross the serial number, I mean the model number. It is a 400 megahertz radio. And here is an HT1250, another UHF radio by the antenna. The model number matches. That will be reprogrammed as well and put into my fleet. This is a Radio Shack Pro 528 scanner. It has batteries and it does turn on. And I don't know how good the batteries are. It has an 800 megahertz antenna on it. I'm assuming that it's going to lock down, and it does. It's programmed to the local stuff. You know, it's throwing up talk group numbers, so it is receiving, but there's no audio. There's audio when I plug in a headset, and there's intermittent audio when I work around the headset. So I'm thinking this plug's just dirty. I'll squirt it out and see if the speaker livens up, you know, some other point. But CDM 1550, this radio, VHF high band. This is a narrowband radio. Yes, it's got this mic. I know this isn't the mic that goes with it, but that's what I got with it. Sit there. Here's another one, CDM 1550. That one's missing a piece of the faceplate. It looks like it's been in a truck or something. It's got this mic and a mic hanger stuck to it. It's an old Max Track mic. DTMF. These radios have the, I don't know, they have some business band frequencies in them. And then there's this CM300 Motorola. It's got that adapter, which is useful. And that's high band, of course. And then we get into more of my area of operation. Here's the wall wart, one of the wall warts for the SP50s. There's a couple of SP50s. This SP50 here is VHF high band with its charger And there's an SP50 Plus, the small version. It's in UHF here. Those are wideband. VHF is pretty much useless. The UHF, I can GMRS maybe, I don't know. Here's a duplexer. Cell wave duplexer, set to 451-0875. I'm going to have this return to GMRS for sure. I've got a friend that can do that. I have these little antennas here. 450 to 465 megahertz, which is perfect because my commercial frequency is at 452. And I'm going to be changing the antennas out on my vehicles. These are all black. I have 4 of them. And I have 3 vehicles and a one of those little carts you drive around, 2-seater carts. It has a radio in it. Not a golf cart, the all-terrain stuff. These are all microphones. These are all mounting brackets. And these are all PM400s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them here. So there's about 6 or 7, there's 6 mics, 6 brackets, 6 radios, 12 sets of screws, and the power cords are in another box, but they're basically these. There's a computer cable in here. Anyway, how did I come across such treasures? Now, I don't understand why anybody would call this junk, because it is within the FCC's legal limits for operation, being narrowband, where most of all this is. I think there's only literally a couple of wideband radios here, and that would be these SP50s. Maybe the Spectra, I don't know. It says Astro. If this is an Astro, then it'll be compatible with the rest of my stuff. So yeah, this one says headset channels. I don't know what that's about. Anyway, how much did I pay for all of this? Not one red cent. This was all given to me by a company that no longer needed it, or they were actually closing up shop. The owner of the company had passed, and they called me and said, we got some radios and computers, come get them, they're going to the garbage. And the guy that owned the place did not want the radios to go to the ham operators. Even though I am a ham myself, he would rather me as an individual have them. He didn't want them to go to the local club because they have a track record of getting donated equipment and selling it off on eBay. And I've got more computers to get from him. He's literally got probably 10 more computers of varying eras. And I think he actually has an IBM XT that I really want, but he's got to dig out all the parts for it. So we'll be going back within a week or so and retrieving more stuff. I'm not sure about radios. I think he's got some more radios, some what are they, CP400, CP200 XLRs or something. They've got displays on them. He's going to find them all before he lets me have them. I think he has 3 or 4 of them. And I'm still using the cell phone because it's charged. My other camera is not really charged up right now, so. Oh, yeah, there's keyboards, of course. And there was some extra RAM here. 256 megabytes PC2, which is old as fuck, but that'll go in one of these computers, I'm sure. And then there's this. There's this PC3 4 gigabyte laptop RAM in this adapter for desktop. How neat is that? Now, I'm sure this is only for testing purposes and not to be put into mainstream use, but that is really cool that that's a thing, that you can put laptop RAM in a desktop like that. So I'm going to leave you with that to chew on. Let me know what you think. Definitely got some useful radios this time and not a box of wideband junk from a ham sale. Actually some useful stuff. I'm going to be going through those all week, seeing what works, seeing what they're programmed to, reprogramming them, and definitely putting them in the lot for service. The computers, you could open the Mac like I said here. Let's open the Mac. This is neat. It's got a ring here. You pull it open, and it all drops down. It's battery. I guess all of this is a fucking processor. It looks, what kind of RAM is that? PC-133. This looks like an AGP card. And some slots. I'm not real sure what that is. Maybe a modem. There's a Maxtar hard drive with an Apple on it, 30 gigabytes. It is IDE. There's the cable. All up in there. Excuse me. Man, there's a big fan. There's the power supply. Oh, this is neat. It looks like an IDE. This might be SCSI. Who knows? Looks like IDE, but it's got a IDE floppy and a CD-ROM. Here's a coaxial hookup for some kind of wireless thing. I don't know much about Macs and Apple. I just sorry, I don't. I'm a PC person, but you know what? I got it. It was free. So I took it, and it'll definitely be something I'll play with because I'm not really familiar with Macs. Anyway, I'll let you guys go. I'm ElfNet Gaming, and this was a haul of electronics, I guess. I'll leave you looking at the Apple symbol, and I'll see you guys in the next video.